Hello and welcome to Games from Folktales, a podcast that mixes historical research and tabletop role-playing settings. I'm your host, Timothy Ferguson. This week, a lengthy poem from an American poet, Sarah Teasdale. I've been looking at Teasdale's work because in the Cornwall material I'm collecting together, I have the Infernal Saint of Sorrow, but for her to be effective, she can't go around constantly being Dolores of the Seven Sorrows. She has to fool people by taking other forms. Sarah Teasdale's poems are about powerful historical women and their melancholy. So 2 of them suit what I'm looking for. That being said, I don't want to say that every time you see either Helen of Troy or Guinevere, in mythic Europe it's the Saint of Sorrow. Helen of Troy is found in fairy form on an island in the Black Sea where she rules with Achilles, and Guinevere is found in many parts of the west of England and in Wales. Indeed, Guinevere may be a title. There are clearly at least 3 Guineveres simultaneously in some of the Welsh Arthurian stories. So this week her poem Guinevere, next week her poem Helen of Troy, and for each week, statistics for various versions of Guinevere and Helen will appear on the blog that accompanies the podcast. Each of the recordings has been made by Molly Armandson through LibriVox. Thanks to Molly and to her production team.
Guinevere by Sarah Teasdale, read for LibriVox.org by Molly Armandson. I was a queen, and I have lost my crown, a wife, and I have broken all my vows, a lover, and I ruined him I loved. There is no other havoc left to do. A little month ago I was a queen, and mothers held their babies up to see when I came riding out of Camelot. The women smiled, and all the world smiled too. And now, what woman's eyes would smile on me? I still am beautiful, and yet what child would think of me as some high heaven-sent thing, an angel clad in gold and miniver? The world would run from me, and yet I am no different from the queen they used to love. If water flowing silver over stones is forded, and beneath the horse's feet grows turbid suddenly, it clears again, and men will drink it with no thought of harm. Yet I am branded for a single fault. I was the flower amid a toiling world, where people smiled to see one happy thing, and they were proud and glad to raise me high. They only asked that I should be right fair, a little kind, and gowned wondrously, and surely it were little praise to me if I had pleased them well throughout my life. I was a queen, the daughter of a king. The crown was never heavy on my head. It was my right, and was a part of me. The women thought me proud, the men were kind, and bowed right gallantly to kiss my hand, and watched me as I passed them calmly by along the halls I shall not tread again. What if tonight I should revisit them? The warders at the gates, the kitchen maids, the very beggars would stand off from me, and I, their queen, would climb the stairs alone, pass through the banquet hall, a loathed thing, and seek my chambers for a hiding place. And I should find them but a sepulchre. The very rushes rotted on the floors, the fire in ashes on the freezing hearth. I was a queen, and he who loved me best made me a woman for a night and day, and now I go unqueened forevermore. A queen should never dream on summer's eves, when hovering spells are heavy in the dusk. I think no night was ever quite so still, so smoothly lit with red along the west, so deeply hushed with quiet through, and strangely clear, and deeply dyed with light. The trees stood straight against a paling sky, with Venus burning lamp-like in the west. I walked alone amid 1,000 flowers that drooped their heads and drowsed beneath the dew, and all my thoughts were quieted to sleep. Behind me, on the walk, I heard a step. I did not know my heart could tell his tread. I did not know I loved him till that hour. Within my breast I felt a wild, sick pain. The garden reeled a little. I was weak. And quick he came behind me, caught my arms that ached beneath his touch. And then I swayed, my head fell backwards, and I saw his face. All this grows bitter that was once so sweet, and many mouths must drain the dregs of it. But none will pity me, nor pity him, whom love so lashed and with such cruel thongs.